Today we're going to be looking at the review behind Unit 2, Quiz 1, and talking about slope. As I looked through a lot of tests, if there were problems, most of the time it was because slope, which is the change of y over the change of x, students confused what needed to be in the numerator and what needed to be in the denominator. So as a quick reminder, we have y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Putting meaning behind it is very important. So while we do see that x, y is the ordered pair, you're going to have to really begin to make that connection to our rise over our run. So in this first problem from the quiz, you were to find the rate of change between the x and the y. As you find that rate of change, you would have noticed that the time increase was plus 2 hours and the distance was an increase of 50 miles. When you wrote this answer out as 50 miles per 2 hours, you had to remember to simplify, so you would divide them both by 2 to get 25 miles per 1 hour. And again, that importance of putting the label so we understand what the numbers mean. In number 2, we're looking for the rate of change in students per year. So we have our student per year. We notice that as our eyes travel across, that the slope decreases. And when slope decreases, we know that slope is negative. So this is a negative slope. Slope is m. And when we talk about slope, we look at the rise, whether it is an increase or a decrease, over the run, which is an increase or a decrease. In this case, we can see that if we start here, we are actually moving down. So we have a decrease from 680 to 620. So we have a decrease of negative 60 students. And that is over a 3-year span. So negative 60 students over 3 years, and those can both be divided by 3, so I can simplify it to negative 20 students per 1 year. We can see that that attendance is decreasing. Now, again, you could have also gone an increase of 60, but then you would have had to go back 3 years. So again, you still have a negative in that answer. As I erase this, I want you to think about that rise over the run. And I'm going to draw out another example on this same line. So what if we were to start here at year 1 at 620, and the next year we see that there is a decline? What is this rise over the run? Rise over the run. Hopefully you noticed that it went from 620, it decreased to 560. That's a decrease of 60 in 1 year. So for this example, it would be negative 60 students per 1 year. The happy baby problem. For this one, we are given 12 pounds in 6-week time. And then we have an 18 pounds at 8 weeks. Now, if you were to do a table, you would have your x and your y. And we know that x is always time. So at 6 weeks, we had 12 pounds. At 8 weeks, we had 18 pounds. And we can look for that constant rate of change. There was an increase of 2 weeks and an increase of 6 pounds. So 6 pounds for every 2 weeks. But again, I can simplify by dividing by 2 to get 3 pounds per 1 week. Number 4, find the slope of the line graphed and then simplify. As I'm looking at this line, my eyes are going to take me across and up. So I can see that that is a positive slope. So for this one, slope is going to be positive. I want to look for the rise over the run. I go from -2, I rise up to 2. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 units up. And then I go 1 unit to the right. So my rise is 4, my run is 1. So I have 4 over 1, or I can say 4. Let's try another one. I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line. If this is my line, what is my rise over my run? What is my rise over my run? Here I can see my rise is +2. My run is +3. So my rise over my run is 2/3. Find the slope of this one. Here I'm looking at my rise and my run again. Now in this case, I'm not rising up. I'm rising down. And all that's telling me is that I'm going -2. I'm going down 2. And then I am running 1, 2, 3. I'm going from -2 to 1. So I have a -3. Sorry, I have a +3 because I'm moving to the right. So I'm going down 2, but I'm going to the right 3. So my rise over my run is -2, 3. Now we talked about that negative could be on the outside, -2 over 3, or 2 over -3. So let's look at that one. The reason that would work is because I can go here up 2, but then I go back 3. So I can create triangles on either side of that line. And that rise over the run always is going to give you that negative slope because this line is moving down. Which line here shows us a slope of 0? Now remember, when we talked about that slope of 0, we are looking for the horizontal line. This line, my slope is equal to 0. In D, that slope is undefined. Here I have a negative slope, and here I have a positive slope. But this is 0 because as we look at this, we could choose some points. We could say this is point 0, -5, and I could come over here and I could tell you that this is, what do we got here? -2, -6, -5, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, -5 minus -5 over 0 minus 6. 2 negatives, there's my positive, and I get 0 over -6. When I have a 0 in the numerator, it tells me my slope is 0. For these problems, we were x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. We set up the formula. You can plug in your answers to the values, and you can begin to work. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1. 15 minus 9 over 8 minus 5. 6 over 3 or 2. So you could have said the answer is 6 over 3, but then we simplify it to 2 over 1 or 2. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, 2 minus 7 over 5 minus 1, negative 5 over 4. There's your answer for number 9. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. 6 minus 10 over 0 minus negative 4, negative 4 over 0 plus 4 is 4. So don't let those integers confuse you. So this is negative 1. Negative 4 over 4 is equal to negative 1 over 1, which is the same as negative 1. X sub 1, y sub 1, that's the first point. X sub 2, y sub 2, it's the second point. We look at the change in y. So we look 4, take away 5. Negative 13, take away negative 10. Now, the opposite of negative 10 is a positive 10. Negative 1, and here I have negative 13 plus 10 is negative 3. So my answer is 1/3. You could have negative 1 over negative 3, but we know that that gives us a positive. The extra credit made you think. In a small pool, there's 15 gallons of water in it. Okay, so here's my pool. And right now there are 15 gallons of water. The water's turned on and the tub begins to fill. We're adding to it 2 gallons per minute. And we're going to let T be the number of minutes since the water was turned on. So 2 gallons times T, and we want to figure out G, what's the number of gallons in the pool? Well, at 2 minutes times T plus the 15 gallons that were already there will give us the total gallons of water. Extra credit is where we are heading to in the next few lessons. I hope you had a good time going through and looking at what slope is. Again, we want to make sure slope, we always have the y in the numerator over x. The delta of y and the delta of x. When you find the difference, and difference tells you to subtract.